This is gonna be a spoiler review, so I did a couple of smaller ones, reviews, but I'm gonna drive home and talk to you as I do that. So here's a new car, driving into a newer car, and what I'm gonna do take the opportunity to drive home and tell you about Romulus. Okay, so what happens to this, right? The movie starts off really quickly about how, you're pretty much in a situation where you see this thing where this alien ship, this company ship goes into the searches of the destruction of the Nostromo, and the Nostromo was the first Alien movie. That's where Ripley's ship was destroyed. I'm gonna turn the air conditioner real quick. Okay, Ripley's ship, the Nostromo, that was destroyed in the whole thing when she blew up the ship because she couldn't find the alien, and the alien ends up being on her life pod thing. Anyway, so what happens was after the explosion, she pretty much travels for, like, I wouldn't know, maybe a long time in the vastness of space. She blew in space. And what ended up happening was she found out that the alien is on board her life support vessel, which she must have gone like a long distance away. And so in the vastness of space, there's no way that would have been able to find that one, like, cocooned frozen alien. Now, I doubt the alien was actually alive. I think it was dead. I think it was like kind of like they wanted to extract stuff out of it, which kind of begs me another question. In the movie, I mean, pretty much I like the movie overall, I'll give you that. But for the most part, though, there's certain things in the movie that kind of made me just kind of question, like, a whole bunch of stuff. Like, for example, the alien was dead, but according to them, I guess it wasn't dead, because I mean they had a part where the alien came back and killed them all. But I don't think it was that. I think it must have been an alien that kind of formed up. An alien that formed up when they made some new ones with the whole the facehugger thing, right? They came at that with the facehuggers. So I think what happened was they must have made, I don't know how they were able to extract and make a facehugger from one alien that they found in the wreckage. But that's asking questions, you shouldn't really ask. Another thing too is, like, how did they even make the facehugger? That was the question there, because what happens, like, when there was let me just go through. They find the alien that was kind of like fossilized alien in the midst of the whole scenario with in deep space, and right after Nostromo's ship, which wouldn't have been able to find it, would have been obliterated like space dust, because I mean, like someone said, it got nuked 3 times. She had 3 nuclear explosions in space, and so that would have obliterated any hope of finding any of those things. Not to mention the radiation load would have been too much for anything. It would have killed any machine that was nearby to kind of come by to search for it. That's something there. The other thing too is, like, you have it where they were able to do that. It took them about, I don't know, 20 years or something like that. You had that ship. It was actually on a space station. They're doing this research on the space station, trying to clone aliens and stuff. So something went wrong, and anyway, so what happened? There was people on land. Her name was Ray. Ray is the main character. She's the main character, the one that we follow the most in the story. And what ends up happening is that she has like a brother, like a black android, who she's kind of taking care of. Her dad gave it to her as a present, and it was like pretty much like a protector. Like, we called him her brother, and so he was like a black alien, android. And androids in this movie, right? The whole thing about this movie is that the whole thing with androids, there's always some kind of struggle or something with the android system, right? So anyway, so what happens is, like, you have this thing where the android has pretty much, he has a kind of like he has ticks, and he's not really 100%. He's kind of like a dumb android, but he's was a mining android. And so, unlike the androids you've seen before, like Michael Fassbender's android David in the first one, Prometheus, and in Alien Covenant, his android was a slow android. There's a couple things about the movie that, like, if I tell you the whole movie, but I'll just kind of say what it is. What happens is that they're coming. The girl, her name's Rain. She's up for a review, and her review is that for her to leave the planet, because what happens, the planet only gets like sunlight for like 1 hour or like an hour or 1 day, every year or something, because it's like a non-rotating body in space. So it's kind of like there's this thing where it's like there's rings of Saturn overhead. I listened to a bunch of different reviews too to kind of get different perspective, and so I like the whole thing when they decided to, like, leave, because they went to leave to go find another place. When they found out that there's the space station, has a cryogenic sleep. So for order to go to a place called Yavaga, right, which means heaven in I think Hungarian or something, or another language, Yavaga, they're trying to get over there, and because they have to sleep in a cryo chamber. So she and her bunch of friends have to kind of go and sleep in cryo sleep, and go across there to a 9-year journey from her current place where she's at to go all the way to this new place. So they leave the mining column that they're working at, which she's been working at for like 5 years or 6 years, trying to get to completion. What happens is she flies up with her friends to the space station. When they get to the space station, pretty much they needed like her android friend, or black android friend, to be able to unlock the key with his fingers, right, to unlock the door. And so what happens, like he has ability because he's an android, and the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, as the androids can unlock and open certain things, right? So what happened? The space station was like sitting like fallow. Nobody was in it. And what happens was like there was nobody in it. They had to do this thing where they crawl in like all these scary doors, which for me is just too claustrophobic. I mean, I'd have to scratch my nose or something, and just being up there was too much. So what ended up happening was like they went in and they had a problem with gravity. So gravity kept on like messing up. They kind of started off at the bat. How gravity is kind of off and on this ship. And so because of that, it's kind of like, things are floating and things are falling, and things are floating, things are falling, which is kind of a fun type thing, which is kind of crazy. You're not really sure when that's going to happen again. So they were able to get in control of that and shut off the whole gravity generator stuff, or put it on actually, so the gravity would work on the ship. After that, they were able to open the door, because they went into like a secret hatch. After they got through the secret hatch, they had to go put it regular, so the whole ship that the different people were on, they were like, there were 3 girls and 2 guys, right? So 3 girls and 2 guys, right? One was like a Chinese girl or a Japanese, I'm not sure. She's an Asian. And then you have like a lady who's pregnant, and you have Rain, and then you have the brother, and then you have the other brother, a brother, another brother, and the brother's like kind of like the ex-boyfriend of Rain, and then you have Andy. So you have 5 people, right? 6 people. And so they're looking to find some a cryo sleep chamber. The robot doesn't need a cryo sleep chamber because in the 9 years he's going to this trip, he starts learning all this stuff like what's the name, Michael Fassbender's in Prometheus. His android was just learning stuff and just learning about everything. So by the time he got to the planet he's going to, they had already the Prometheus planet, the LV-426, but LV something else, I can't remember right now. Anyway, so what happened, the scenario was they realized that they don't have enough fuel in the life pods for them to actually make it. They only had 3 years or 5 years, 3 to 5 years of fuel, and they need to have like 9 years of fuel. So they have to search the ship some more. Because you're thinking, okay, maybe they can get in and get this done. Because, it wouldn't be a movie if they did that, right? It'd be like some kind of other thing happen. But the movie is like, it's kind of like on a space station that's fallen. It's a research lab called Romulus and Remus. And the brothers who made Rome, those are the guys. One is for destruction, one is for life, And it's a pretty interesting story, yeah. And so, let's see, right now I have, 8 minutes, 23 seconds. Okay, so like pretty much what's happening is that they try to go into space to get some fuel cells so they can power up their stuff. They go into the secret part. The fuel cells happen to be where all the facehuggers are. I have no idea how to make the facehuggers. They go from that to the scenario where they try to take it out, and it freezes one of the guy's hands, and he's like, "Oh, my fingers are frozen," with liquid nitrogen or gas nitrogen, whatever, liquid nitrogen, and it freezes his hand a little bit, so it's like hands damaged. There's so much like jump scares. This movie is crazy, but when you go through it, you start figuring out. Okay, here's the scenario. You have the scenario is that you don't know how they have all those face huggers in one room. That's one. Number 2, what were they gonna do? I think they were gonna drop it on a mining colony. I think they were gonna do like an accident and drop all this stuff in the black goo on their mining colony, because they're trying to do a thing where one part of it is destruction, which they showed in Alien Covenant by the black goo. The next part they show is about trying to make real new life. But that black goo, every time it touches anything that black goo does, it just brings like destruction and to the people. So that black goo is really bad. That's a really bad thing, this black goo is. And I don't know, they never explain what it is. It's kind of like a DNA reorganizer. And they say it could probably fix people and help them have life and all that jazz, they're trying to do. But for the most part, what happens is like, the scenario is you have it where the majority of the people, they kind of start doing more and more dumber things. Like, Well, I mean, not so much dumber things completely. I mean, there was certain things that it was really smart. For example, once Andy got to the ship, they had a part where they had a guy, trying to like get this guy because they couldn't. The doors closed, right, and they couldn't get out of the room. They're trying to get the thing. The guy's hand is frozen. And they're trying to get the power cell, and the door closes up, and it's like they're stuck. It's kind of like that's the part where the facehuggers are. That's the research lab where they're not allowed to go to that one area, and so they go to that one area, and the one area kind of seizes up on them. The one area seizes up on them, and when it goes to seize up, they have to figure out how to get out. So they have to they figure, let's reboot Andy and make Andy into a like a one that has the same information. So they put the information from the previous robot into Andy, and then what happens? Andy himself becomes smart. Goes from being like a weakling and a stress to being like a really powerful android. He went from being like poor and hopeless to being strong and really kind of like intense. So what ends up happening is like he does this thing where oh my word, he does this thing where he's stronger, he's faster, he's smarter, and then so it happens like when the facehuggers start breaking out because the room temperature starts going up, and once the room temperature hits a certain thing, they're going to start hatching because they were like all frozen in cryo sleep. So they started doing like some kind of a purge, and so the whole cryo sleep thing happened where all the facehuggers started like jumping out, and then so you have like first one, then two, and you know what happens. They don't know what happened because they've never seen this before. These people are minor kids, coming from a minor colony, and then they're going to be faced with seeing facehuggers for the first time, and then so what happens is like here you have it where these guys are like in a situation where like, oh my word, it's getting worse and worse. So what happens, like they're starting to escape the facehuggers, and they're running, and he's running, and they're running, and they're escaping, and then like the facehuggers are escaping through the thing, and finally one of the facehuggers jumps on the pilot, the Asian girl, right? And so in her situation, she had this thing where it's like pretty much we all know exactly how long it takes for the whole thing to happen. But she has the thing on her face, and we're like, oh my goodness, this is going to be crazy because it's going to take at least a day or two before the alien kind of gets there. But they're saying that the ship is falling out of orbit. The whole thing's falling out of orbit, is going to run into the rings of like Saturn, which is such a cool concept. I mean, if you believe believe the world is round and all that stuff, and believe the whole cosmos thing. But I mean, it's kind of from a sci-fi point of view. It's so cool because you have the whole thing spinning, and it's just like one of those things where it's like I can't believe how cool it is. So the ship eventually, the end of it all, crashes into the rings, and the rings just eat it like a cheeseburger, like you're cutting meat, and it just kind of works it down to where it's like there's nothing left. Kind of works the whole ship down to, and the ship's just blowing up. It's really cool, really cool. That's the end. But in the middle of it, it has where the alien gets on the lady's face. I mean, it's like 5 minutes later, the thing is popping out of her chest. I'm like, 5 minutes? I remember in Alien vs. Predator, they had a thing where it was in their chest, and you think it's about maybe an hour or something. But you think it every 10 minutes, so they kind of, brought it down. 10 minutes, they had the thing where the alien got on her lady's face. And then same thing with the Scar. Scar got the Predator alien on his face in Alien vs. Predator 2. So you had the thing where it's like they had this thing. So it's like the alien pops out of her chest, and it starts growing like in 10 minutes. I mean, in 20 minutes, the thing is full grown, hunting them already. And it's a rendition of her. But before that happened, it's still like cocooning, because it's never been this cocooning stage where it goes from the egg, from the face hugger to the little thing from Spaceballs, like hello my baby, hello my honey, hello, the thing went jumping, and then you have that to the part where it's like he's doing like a cocoon thing, and he's kind of coming fully formed, and he has a little spike sticking out. So this guy comes up with a cattle prod, and he stabs it in the thing, and he's trying to electrocute it, and it's just not electricity's not having any effect on this alien thing. Eventually he pulls it out and starts like dripping acid, and after that the thing comes out and catches the guy, the boyfriend of the girl who's pregnant. And what happens is like the whole scenario is like he just gets acid on him, and he's just like he's just what do you call it? Just messed up. He's just messed up, So anyway, so it happened. I gotta get Spike out of the car. So I've already gone over 10 minutes, but let me give you a real quick synopsis of everything that happens. Is like the aliens start breaking free. The Andy started acting like really crazy, Andy started acting really crazy. Well, not crazy, but he started working for what's best for the company, which is like really crazy because when he was when he's like when he was like working and a weakling and he wasn't able to do anything, the company, the people loved him. But as soon as he became like just able to hold like doors open and hold the whole ship back and carry elevators, he became a threat to the establishment. I mentioned this a little bit before. And so now, without belaboring the point, there was an aspect where it's like, they said he was the best character because he had the most range. Went from being hopeless to being so helpful and almost dangerous to the point where you got really scared, not sure what he's going to do to you. And so because of that, he was a threat to the establishment, And being a threat to the establishment is never good, especially when when we got, but even though I don't 100%, I believe that, there's an aspect, I believe that somebody had to work a little harder because you have things against you, so that's something there. My thought on the matter is that I liked it. I really liked this movie. I would watch it again. There's a whole lot of really cool jump scenes, really kind of things. But my favorite part is like when the thing's breaking down. There's one part where they actually crush a rat in the movie, and they said about how there's a healing power of the black goo. So they take the black goo, and the black goo is able to put that into the rat. And so what happens is that you see like how the rat is like smashed, right? And it's just like a white lab rat is smashed. And after that, it starts like kind of fixing itself over time lapse, fixes itself because of the black goo, and it's back to normal, and it's just really cool. So a little bit later, they start talking about how this thing is a good thing that'll help you. This could help you. So you have this vial thing. They have that vial and thinking, well, I'm going to take this vial and be able to fix any disease or all that because it's kind of like a DNA reorganizer type thing. It's going to help your body to repair. But then they kind of like, as they're leaving, they kind of look back to the same cage with the rat in it, and the rat has become like a giant, like half rat, half alien looking thing. And it's dead. It was dead, stuck in the trap, and it was just like nobody saw that, right? Nobody saw that, but we saw it. The audience saw that, and you're like, oh dag. So even though they think that this is gonna help them, it's definitely gonna hurt them, and it's gonna hurt them. It's gonna hurt them really badly. If somebody injects themselves with this thing, they're not gonna show it is. They had little vials of that black goo. Like same thing like in the Prometheus, and same thing like Alien Covenant. So anyway, long story short, what happens is like the lady she gets injured and she wants to heal her baby and heal herself, so she does stab herself in the neck with it, and bad things happen. Then you have the thing here where pretty much Andy has to make some tough decisions. He wouldn't open the door for the lady before she did that, and she got attacked. And they found her like in an alien cave. There was no alien queen. The alien queen was not seen yet, so they hadn't had an alien queen until Aliens. So this movie takes place in between Alien and Aliens. And so, according to us, 57. She was adrift for 57 years. She had lost in space for 57 years with Ripley. So Ripley was alive. That makes you think. I mean, they would have found Ripley, but they found the alien before they found Ripley. Okay, all right. I'm gonna have to end the video here because I'm running out of time. And I was supposed to be 10 minutes, actually 17 minutes now. I'm gonna end the video. And I just wanted to say a couple things that there's there's a lot of things there, you can think about. But for the most part, though, I like the movie. I'd watch it again. I think about the whole thing, how the black guy was a helper, and he was being like taken care of. He was said to be taking care of the girl, and he was a minor android. And then after that, he got hurt, and they're beating him up, and she had to come and save her friend, and he was a brother. And after that, they only needed him because they used him to open the door, and he had such a range of character and pretty cool. And you have all this stuff where he's such a really good character. However, it's like when he became strong, he became a threat, and they were like, nah. They didn't attack him in any way. They really didn't attack him, but he was like a threat to them, and they didn't like him anymore. And to the point where it's like they're gonna leave him, And then when it got to the point where they're gonna leave him, she was like, well, he's still my friend. My dad made him for me. My dad made him for me, and I'm supposed to honor my pops, and honor my pops and make sure my dad's memory lives on. Things like that. So what ends up happening is like, he's helpless again. And then so what happens is like they take out the chip. And so he still has some strength left. But he starts, goes back and he says something that Ripley says, but Ripley doesn't say that yet, if you think about that whole timeline aspect of it. There's a part where they bring back Ash. Well, Ash is not really there. It's actually a robot. Just like how Prometheus had other robots that look like David. Right? Well, in this scenario, they had a robot that looked just like Ash. And they really shouldn't have done it, honestly. People are saying that it was kind of a bad move, a misstep on their part. Because for them to bring back somebody who actually died, to just kind of put him into the video, just for, I don't know. I'm not really sure what, but I guess it's like the most current version of the robots. I don't know. It's just one of those things. It hasn't been that many years. Only 20 years since like David's robot was perfect, like the Michael Fassbender robot. Anyway, long story short, I keep saying that. What happens is like you have this thing where as you're going through this thing, you're learning, you're learning that this whole thing is like they really shouldn't have done that. They should have just kind of kept it how they kept it, and by keeping it how they keep it, they should have like not had it where they put him in there. That the Ash, even though he was there to tell a story, and I mean I understand how it works and how his part that he played, how that worked, you know. I understand that part. But what I don't understand, so I can hold this here, put this here. What I don't understand is like how and why they did it, because at the end of the day, they really could have done something else. They could have had a whole lot of different, like, you know, a whole lot of different ideas. That was my bike thing got me right in hand. Because I had to ride my bike to the car. Because what happens is like you have to park far away because the neighbors are taking spots. So I gotta put my bike in the car. Neighbors are taking spots in multiple vehicles. They park in such a way that you can't even get your bike. You can't find parking, which is good because see, I actually found parking, which I'm really happy about. However, the situation is like going from my bike to my car. I park my bike. Yep. So yeah. Anyway, so what happens is I gotta catch up with my wife real quick. So let me just put this up. Okay, I'm not gonna ride my bike. I'm gonna walk my bike. And I gotta put all this stuff out of sight. Oh goodness. So I gotta put stuff out of sight, and I gotta go back to the front and my bike lock. Gotta put the bike back on the thing. When I go home from work, I usually take my bike and I have to come back to this car anyway. So let's go do this. Let me just gotta push the button. So give me 1 second. Let me just get out of the street real quick. And push this button so I lock my car. Okay, so it's good. It's locked. Now I'm gonna go over there. Have my bike back up. So okay, so what happens? So the thing is, I think that androids, why they should have had like a David Fassbender again. They should have had him. Even though I know they're kind of going with like not having maybe because he does such a really good job as a very scary threat. Very scary threat he is as David. But the androids in the movie are like always bad, except for Alien Resurrection, which is crazy. And I don't know what they were thinking when they made Alien Resurrection. It's one of those things that are just like, what kind of movie was that? I don't know. Just bizarre. Learn about water aliens. Okay, so I can swim. I can make some of those. That'd be cool. But for the most part, though, it's one of those things where you're just like, man. I'm gonna have to end this because I have to take my wife has to go somewhere, and I have to just get my bike in position while I lock it. And you don't need to see that, so I'm gonna just have you positioned, facing like this way. Right, we don't see any dresses or anything like that. I'm gonna keep talking to you. So let me do that real quick. Right, I'm gonna tie my bike. Right here because I have to get going. But for the most part, though, okay, the story I would watch it again. It was a fan service, kind of like the thing where they that thing where you have that movie like Force Awakens and stuff, where they do a fan service to all the Star Wars people. To all the Star Wars people, they are like they got a chance to see stuff and be like, oh look, Millennium Falcon, and things like that. Hey. And then see things like Millennium Falcon and things like that. And so for the most part, though, it's one of those really cool. Hold on a second. I'm doing good. Wow, one of my neighbors just gave me something really cool. All right, so I gotta go now. I gotta talk to you soon and catch up with you. But for the most part, that is a movie. Watch it. Go see it. I liked it. Watch it again. Pretty much, you'll see how it goes. God bless you. Talk to you soon. All right, bye. Yes.